Hello, welcome to Learning the Business of Landscape Design. This is Computer-Aided Drafting, and I am Dan Lee. Today we're going to work on Lesson 3, some more advanced commands. There is definitely a rhythm to typing commands in AutoCAD, unlike any other program I've worked with. So we're going to start by working with the line command. There are numerous ways to enter commands into AutoCAD. We have the command line that we've mentioned before here at the bottom. We can right-click. If you right-click, then it comes up with a bunch of options over here. These will change as you enter different commands. There's also the icons, which are all up here on the ribbon. Most of the commands have multiple steps to complete. The first step in the command for the line is just either select the line up here, or I prefer just to type the letter L into the keyboard and press enter. So if you're reading your command line, L, first thing is line. Now it's asking you to select the first point. So I'm going to select right here, and then I'm going to come up my screen, and I'm going to right-click again. And then as you notice, I move my mouse around. It's still wanting to make more lines, but I'm going to hit the enter button, and that is going to end the command. As you can tell by the command line, it says type a command now. So now I've drawn my first line. To draw another line, all I have to do is press the enter key again, and reading the command line, you'll see that the last command comes back up. You can press the escape key to get out of a command and clear the command line. With that one line on the screen, let's review and use the mouse scroll wheel to zoom in and out. Now let's try using the keyboard command to zoom. So hit Z on the keyboard. Remember, you don't have to move your mouse down there, and press enter, enter. Something different is going to happen, and you're going to come up with this magnifying glass. This is called real-time zoom, and this works by moving the mouse. So you have the magnifying glass. You can right-click and move your mouse diagonally, and things get bigger or smaller. You can move things up and down, and things get bigger or smaller. You cannot move things horizontally. Horizontally does not change anything, and that throws a lot of people off. They think the command's not working or something's going weird. So it works best on a diagonal. It can work on an up and down. It just does not work horizontally for some reason. So we're going to escape to get out of that. And now let's go ahead and draw another line. So I'm going to put L in the keyboard, press enter, and I'm going to draw another line crossing my first line. And it's going to keep wanting to draw lines, so I'm going to press enter or escape. And I have two lines now. So we can do the panning. This time I want you to do panning by right-clicking your mouse to get some additional things. And you'll see there is the pan right there. So now you can pan up and down. This is exactly the same as just pressing the scroll wheel and moving your mouse around. But it's important to know that these options are available as we get into other commands. Now we're going to erase. So we can go up here and we can find the icon to erase. It's going to be on the Home tab under the Modify pane. So there is the erase, and if you read the command line, erase selected objects. So I'm just going to remember, when you hover over an object, it's going to fade that object or gray it out, and so you know what you're selecting. And then go ahead and click that and then enter, and that line disappears. And then I'm just going to revisit that oops command, OOPS, and remember that brings back the last thing erased. So we've got our basic command down for line. Now we can move around the window. We're going to try something a little different. So this has a little bit of a different rhythm to it. We're going to try duplicating using the copy command. So the icon is right up here for copy, or you can type into the command line CP. As you notice, if you just type a C into the command line, it's going to be a circle. and then the CO is for copy, or CP for copy. Now I'm going to select the two items by clicking right on them. Now read your command line. I've selected my items, so copy, one item found, two in total, which makes sense. I'm done selecting things, so I'm going to hit enter, and now it's going to ask me for a base point. So you can click anywhere. I'm going to click over to this quadrant here on the left, and then I'm going to slide these over and up, and I'm going to click one more time, and now I've copied that. And as you notice, I drag my mouse around. It will continue letting me copy as many times as I want, but I'm going to hit the escape button to empty my command line. You can also press the enter button. If your lines have been copied off of your working window here, your drawing space, then you can hit Z, enter, E, enter. It will fill up your drawing space with all the lines you have drawn. Another command that's very useful is the trim command. So right up here, we have trim command. If you hover over it, it will give you a lot more information. Hiding behind the trim command is called the extend command. Now, trim command has a bunch of really interesting things it can do. You can also type in trim into the keyboard. The trim command works by selecting a cutting edge, and this has been really confusing for a lot of my students. The cutting edge acts as the knife blade. So I am going to select this line to begin with. If I'm reading my command line, it says I've selected one item, and I'm going to press enter because I am done selecting items. Now, as you see, I move my mouse around and it's showing me what lines I can trim. So by this line, my knife blade, my cutting edge, is bisecting these two lines. I can now get rid of this section of line, and I'll do that. And now notice I cannot get rid of the other section of line because it is no longer being bisected by my cutting edge. And that's a very important distinction. I'm going to hit escape to get out of the command. So I'm going to do the trim command again. This time I'm going to click on the icon, and I'm going to select two lines. And then I'm done selecting lines. I'm going to press enter. And then you can see I can select this one. But now I can also select one of my cutting edges that's being bisected by another cutting edge. So that's an important thing to notice as well. So I'm going to cut that one, and then I can cut this one. But notice I can't cut this because it's no longer being bisected by a cutting edge. So I'm going to either hit enter, which gets me out of the command, or I could hit escape. So that is the trim command. And now we're going to move on to one more really important command, and that is mirror. Mirror is a very useful and a very fun command, I think. So mirror, as you hold things over, it'll give you more information about it. But it reminds me of back when little kids have a book and it has half an object and you hold a mirror up to the other half to complete that object. It's very similar to that. So we'll click on the mirror command. Read your command line. It's asking you to select items. So I'm going to click right on these lines. So I've selected everything. And then I'm going to hit enter. And then I'm going to come over to the top, kind of little off the middle. And this is my first mirror line. And as you notice, once you make that first selection of a mirror line, it's going to copy all those lines, and you can decide where they're going to be placed. So you can have fun, and I can just kind of kiss these lines, but I think I'm going to make it a little bit farther out and click down here. So now you can see these lines. Very important to read the command line at this point. It's asking you if you want to erase the source objects. The source objects are still highlighted in blue. Those were the original lines, and I do not want to erase those source objects. So I'm going to accept the default, press the enter button to say no, I want to keep my lines. I do not want to delete my lines. Once I hit enter, Everything is the same, and I can use my scroll wheel or zoom extents to see what I have drawn. The next command we're going to learn is the circle. So the icon is right up here under Draw on the Home tab. But I'm going to type in C for circle. And then it's asking me for the center point of the circle. So I'm going to click right about there. And then I'm just going to move my mouse. I'm not clicking or holding anything. And I can come out and I'm going to draw a circle there. So I'm going to click one more time. And there is my circle. If you're not happy with the size of the circle, we can undo it. And I'm going to show you the undo button. So up at the very top, there's the undo, just like most commands. And if I click the little arrow down next to that, it's going to come down with a whole list of everything that I can undo. That's just great to know it's there. So if I click on the circle, it undid the circle. There's also a redo command, and you can type R-E-D-O for redo. There's also the arrow up here that lets you redo, and it'll show you what you can redo. So redo, and my circle is back. So have fun practicing and trimming and copying and making circles and using the mirror command. Thank you for watching, and please visit us at Learn Landscape Design on YouTube.